A source close to the investigation told 9 News that they discovered skeletal remains, and they were able to positively identify Suzanne through her dental records and her cancer port.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't hear. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't hear. That my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. Despite providing very limited information, enterprising media sleuths from 9 News went to Moffat, Colorado yesterday and found yellow crime scene tape just a few feet from a dirt road on the south side of Moffat. Apparently, the media crew asked locals whether they saw any police activity in the area over the course of the previous week, and they were then directed to this otherwise completely nondescript area. As you can see, there's virtually no human habitation in the background as far as the eye can see. What is surprising is how close the site is to a stop sign indicating a T-junction with what appears to be a tar road. Which tar road is it? It's not clear whether this is the main highway, however. And we are going to look at much more detailed images of this area. Before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Incidentally, according to my channel analytics, only 17% of you guys are subscribed with all notifications for my channel turned on. So if you're missing indications for lives or videos that are posted, you should, and you're not getting them, you should unsubscribe, resubscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you're finding this analysis useful, although I must say it's piggybacking on a lot of very good work done by local reporters, nevertheless, you can like, share, leave a comment. You can also hit the thanks button, and let's get started. So there is very clearly a yellow crime scene tape that has been tied and knotted onto sagebrush. It's not something that blew out of a cruiser and just ended up blowing across the field. It's definitely been tied into the bushes. And although that is the case, when the media went to law enforcement and asked them about this particular site, they would not confirm or deny whether this is definitely the site where Suzanne Morphew's remains were found. What do you think? Do you think this is the site? Given the coroner's description of a field and sagebrush, as far as I'm concerned, this does seem to be the right spot. I'm just saying we don't have official confirmation at this point. 9 News took some really useful footage of the site, some photos close to ground level. The ground does seem quite hard. It almost appears to be clay with small stones. It is also very different from the soil in the Watts case, which seemed a kind of a reddish color and a lot softer. Another news agency, CBS Colorado, they also were in the area, but they took far more generic photos of the general area, including from the air, likely from a drone. I don't know whether they actually found the spot. I can imagine going there and looking around and you're not going to find anything. And so the important distinction, but possibly between the two news crews, was what 9 News did, speaking to the locals. On the other hand, it's possible that CBS Colorado simply just decided they're not going to show it, the exact area, perhaps for privacy reasons. Anyway, given the absence of any clear grave marking, it seems unlikely that the person who dug the grave wanted it to be found. It's also possible the killer didn't mind forgetting where the grave was or what happened to the grave either. So it's hard not to think that the police investigators somehow stumbling onto this site in the middle of nowhere was extremely bad luck for someone and very good luck for the investigation, and obviously for poor Suzanne herself. justice in the Morphew case surely has just gotten a huge shot in the arm. So I'm not going to take it further than that. I have provided you guys with a lot of background, a lot of context, a lot of facts, all the pertinent information in the previous 2 live streams. If you haven't watched those, make sure that you do, because it really is quite a good review of all the body cam footage, all the most important information. So check that out. There's also it's now a 73, I think with this video it'll be a 74 episode playlist dealing with the Morphew case. If you're feeling a bit rusty, or if you don't know this case at all, I recommend you go through that playlist, start at the beginning, and I'll put a link to that playlist in the description. Also, keep your eyes peeled for more TCRS Toolbox. It's kind of a new series where we examine the specific techniques, the TCRS methodology for thinking about and investigating true crime cases. You might say, I don't think what you do or how you think about cases is any different from anybody else. Well, I think what is different with this channel and with me is I've written over 100 books, and through the course of doing that, you do start to develop a system where you go through things in a step-by-step way, and then you try to integrate the various threads and perspectives, right? And so there really is a specific way that we approach all cases. And although it may not be apparent to you guys, there really is a specific system that is in place. And part of the point of this TCRS toolbox is to make it clear, to make it explicit what some of the main tools in those toolbox are, so that when you use it, when we're using them, you can see what that system is and how it's being applied. You can also see, you might also say, isn't it time that we looked into that aspect or that tool, use that tool in this case? The other thing that I think is very useful with the whole thing is when a new case is coming along, or when we even dealing with an old case, even a cold case such as this one, the Morphew case, you kind of want to look at those tools again and say, well, let's look at this case through some of these tools. And so with that in mind, I'd like to hear from you guys. There's already one episode is up on this channel dealing with identity. Please watch that if you haven't. I think it's pretty good. But there are 2 more in the offing, timeline and human psychology. There are also probably at least 3 more that we're going to deal with. So let me know in the comments which one you'd like me to deal with first, timeline or human psychology. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.